Hello. Hopefully you can hear me. Maybe. I won't start blabbing super fast. All right. So Colette, there we go. Hello to Fred and S. Quinn. Hello, Brian Sweeney. Ruth, as always. And Dre. Oh, and welcome to Bill J as well. Oh, Angie. Hi. It's been a while since we've had Angie. I think I said hello to Fred. Hopefully I did. So even though my time didn't change, you can see that my lighting is not necessarily what I would normally expect. So hello to Lynn. I'm working with folks I work with remotely. I can see how quickly it's getting dark at the end of their day, and same is true. So here in Arizona, the boot camps in the morning have been shifting more and more towards like 6:40 from six. They were 6 o'clock, then they're 6:30, then they're 6:40. So it's darker and darker, and we're in the south as far as latitude, longitude, everything goes. But all right, I didn't log in early like I normally do, and then I was 2 minutes late. Sorry about that. I was enthralled in a bit of work and didn't log off like I normally did. So, okay. So I thought I got confirmation that people can hear me. Colette said yes, right? But Angie's a no. Okay, I see my audio moving. So, okay. All right. Hopefully, maybe Angie, you can reload, and then the tubes will figure that out. So, oh hey, Catherine, welcome. Okay, thank you, appreciate that. All right, it's working. Good. All right. Yeah. So, plan for Sunday, by the way, is Aaron is going to fill in, but I'm a backup just on the off chance that they're not able to log in. So Aaron from CEC, if everybody will know from the CEC, filling in for Jeff on Sunday. And that's the only bit of news that I think from the do nothing sphere of things. And then we're in this exploring do nothing, the technique. That's why I changed the thumbnail a little bit, and so we're still in that. So yeah. So for those that don't know me, I'm Andrew. I'm a mindfulness meditation coach, a software engineer by trade and training, and most will know me from the Do Nothing Project as a sometimes guest host and often moderator. Yeah, I think that's a good summary. What are we going to do? Very little. We'll set a 25-minute timer. I will prompt less, or I will give less pointers than probably normal. So we'll be doing the do nothing technique, which really is a technique where we're sort of letting everything be as it is. So we're not necessarily micromanaging our attention or anything along those lines. We're allowing our attention to kind of romp around in whatever direction it wants to be, and having a really wide open space for the attention sometimes is just what is needed. So then you that goes to the Suzuki Roshi said that the best way to have a calm ox is to have plenty of pasture for the ox. I think he actually says cattle maybe, but Zen uses an ox so often if you haven't seen the ox herder pictures. So I've got a bell. I've got 25 minutes on the clock. And yeah, so I'll say less than I normally do. And then we'll finish up with maybe about 10 minutes or so before the top of the hour. And if you have any questions, reports, or anything else, then you can put those in chat. So I'm glad everyone made time today. I appreciate it. All right, 25 minutes on the clock. All right, so if you want, you can think of that as the signal that the sit has begun. But the other thing is kind of the sit began as soon as you logged in. It's another way to look at it. But the formal sit, we begin with posture. So establishing the posture. And I will offer prompts and pointers around the seated posture, either in a chair, a cushion, or on a bench. But you're totally welcome to be standing, lying down, or walking. Kind of accommodate the pointers in whatever way it best fits your posture. They're all equally valid. And then just a sort of a hat tip to the state of your consciousness as it is right now. Just an acknowledgement. Kind of whatever is already here, offering a bit of a welcome. And not chasing away any tension that we might have in the face or jaw, maybe the shoulders. Sometimes this is like when I settle in to meditate, it's the first time I realize how high I've been holding up my shoulders all day. And then that sort of last bit that I like to do as I'm settling in for a sit is a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo that we're going for. So if you're not congested and your nose isn't blocked, you can breathe in through the nose. That really slows down the breath. And that slow inhale allows us to breathe low into the belly. And then extending the exhale. And sometimes that's enough, just a few breaths is enough to kind of feel that shift. And if it's helpful, just kind of the notion of if you drop a phrase into your mental landscape of just kind of calm body, calm mind. So if you can see about softening the shoulders, making sure they're low, extending that exhale, softening the belly, allowing the belly to fully move as you're breathing in and out. And if it's not calm, just being available to sit with that too. So, and the last sort of pointer I'll offer before I let you explore on your own is really that we're in the do nothing technique here. So we're just sitting and knowing that we're sitting. And then really just kind of tuning in with the ability to say, if you need a home base, or if it would be better to have a home base, you can always shift to that. Just kind of checking out what's available, just in that sitting and knowing that you're sitting. I'll let you explore on your own, and like I said, I'll check in and offer a few thoughts. And just a reminder to check in with your posture. See if those shoulders are creeping up or finding your body is sort of listing to one side or the other. And I find it helpful to remind myself that it takes less effort for me to sit with my bones. And then noticing too if you are keeping your belly tight, or if you're bracing. Again, just starting out with noticing it, not necessarily changing anything or sort of scaring that part of experience away. It's really just like, oh yeah, I can feel the bracing in my neck or my belly, my ribs. It sounds a bit like yoga teacher talk, but just sort of inviting that area to soften. If it doesn't, that's totally fine. And then the last thought or reminder here to offer is just this permission to shift and move and then return to stillness. Return, sort of letting the body sink back into that stillness. So we don't have to be this sort of statue or the mountain. So we can move and then return to stillness. I'll ring the bell to signal the end of our sit. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for making time on your Wednesday to come sit with us. I really appreciate it. Thanks to the folks that are watching the recording. I know there's a few of you out there, a couple that had emailed me. I'm not coughing, but I'm still not 100% after being sick. So I've got the Aura ring, and it shows your like stress resilience, and my stress resilience is like plummeted since the time I got sick. So still trying to recover on that. So again, you're super welcome. Thank you for being here, Colette and Allison. Glad you made it under the wire. Glad you could join Catherine, and it's always great to have you, Angie. So, folks that don't know, Angie is a meditation instructor in her own right. So, but yeah. So, Dre, the sharing about the enormous energy. It's interesting sometimes when we're sitting, we're trying to sit, or we're trying to be still, we get this like complete opposite reaction. Sometimes folks will even compare it to this notion of kind of having a backdraft of like that you don't expect, like you're trying for some other result, and then you get like the complete opposite. So energy rush, things like that, it comes up. So the normal line about that is to see if you can do what's referred to, the shorthand for it is to recycle the reaction. So when you get this enormous energy, seeing if you can shift and make the upwelling of that energy your object. So just I know you didn't exactly ask for a recommendation for that, but that's the idea that pops in my head. So, and the sleep deprivation definitely has the ability to give you these like weird second, third, and fourth winds. At least they did for me when I was staying up late often, which I did a bunch. But the recycle the reaction idea is that if we feel resourced enough, meaning that we feel like we're able to, we can take and shift and concentrate on the actual elements of that energy upwelling. So that energy it'll show up as aspects of maybe feel out, or so from a physical body sensation, it could show up in energetic mental talk, even in mental imagery. So the notion in the UM is that you can take that see, hear, feel, and then sort of apply it to any of the aspects of your experience. And so that's the notion. And we're looking at the overall sensory experience, leaving out the content. So if you don't, so we usually say, like, if you feel resourced enough, do this. If you don't feel resourced, one of the other things to do is to sort of focus out. So that's where you'll hear people will use notion of grounding. So grounding in your senses, in what's around you. So touch, what you see, what you could feel if you were to touch something in the proximity of you, maybe smells. So that notion of that's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you could hear, that standpoint. So when we say, like, if you feel resourced enough, that's the notion of, if you don't, then being able to sort of anchor out or anchor away. So that's the opposite there that we're usually using as sort of a shorthand. And I realize I say that a lot, but I don't give you what's the flip side of it. So that's an example of the flip side. For when I do grief counseling, and I'm not a therapist or anything, but from when we're working with kids in grief counseling, the focus out, that the 5-4-3-2-1 in grounding in the senses is something that we'll offer for kids that that are going through extreme emotional reactions and things, and so it's super helpful for adults too. So, all right, I'm realizing, I forget if we have anybody that has. I think we have some people have things happening at the top of the hour. So thank you for everybody that's here because of the time change. I forgot to mention that at the top. So really appreciate that. For me, part of it is top of the hour for me is when my Zen group will meet. We do a study group, and so if I were to shift our time, then that would mean I'd miss my Zen group. And so even though it's once a month, but so anyway, thank you, because then that means that I can attend my Zen group. So I appreciate that. All right. Like I said, Aaron is your guest host for Sunday. The notion is that Aaron is somewhere in BC, where power outages are reasonably common. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, that everything will work out on Sunday and Aaron will be able to guide. If not, then I'm going to jump in as a backup. So similar to I was a backup for Jeff this last Sunday. So see folks there on Sunday. Thank you again, and really appreciate the folks for coming in, your likes and all of that sort of stuff. And then if I think there's at least one or two people that maybe aren't getting, I'm sending reminders out. If you aren't getting reminders, you can email me and I'll add you to the list. So have an excellent, as much excellence as you can have between now and Sunday. Yeah. And be kind to yourself. So, all right.